and most of the responses, first off, were from guys, and a whole lot of them were negative. I saw little comments about how some of them just felt like immediately the topic comes up, they didn't want to hear anything about you being a feminist or feminism or anything like that. So there's that issue with the guys. There's that issue of actually fighting this idea of
Almost
what
like a
feminism
taboo.
is. Exactly. But then again, there's also, which I kind of feel like is the originating issue, the definition of what feminism really is. And outside what the definition of feminism really is, the actions that follow it coming from the women or the ladies. I, for one, I don't know if I would like to identify as a feminist. I kind of feel like I'm more of, hey, we're all human beings. My general rule is treat everybody the way you want to be treated, whether you're a man or you're a woman. If you were to flip the table, right? If this were to be you, would you like it? Would you accept it? Would you enjoy it? It's just, when people talk about equality and they're like, oh, but ladies go about, they could slap a guy and expect the guy to not hit them back, right? And I'm like, you as a lady, if someone hits you, you wouldn't enjoy it. So obviously, he's not enjoying being slapped. But of course, so that's just how I feel about it. But hey, that's our topic for today, guys. Remember, you can join us. You can call in 0144899981. You could drop a comments on Twitter. We are at Smooth981 FM. Don't forget, you can also drop a message on WhatsApp with the number 0809 We are live on YouTube right now, by the way. So just go onto YouTube and search for Smooth981. So before I go into some of the tweets that I actually came across, I'd like to know your stats. Let's start with Bisi.
My stand on feminism. Okay, so when people say I don't want to identify with feminism, I don't want to call it feminist. I don't know. I find it very strange
Mm-hmm.
because um, it's like what we're doing now, and some people are saying just the way we're bringing light on the issue of sexual assault, sexual abuse, and then some people trying to diminish that because, oh, you know what, this
False
happens,
accusations.
false accusations and all that. So you don't reduce a movement because it's not
Of some bad eggs.
yeah, bad eggs or whatever. So I don't mind identifying as a feminist, and what I always say is that I'm a feminist because I'm human, because I'm a humanist. So you know what, for people who like to say I'm human, we should be humanists, we should treat both gender equally. Yeah, great, yes. That's why, I can say, okay, you know what, let's be feminists. That's why I can say, let's do this, let's fix this. But of course, again, I also get where people are coming from, which is that, oh, you know what, it's like such a fight now, such a struggle, which is almost what you will find with any great movement, even with equal rights, you will still find people who are saying, oh, you're taking this too far, and all of that. But it doesn't diminish the work that is being done. My husband would even tease me and say, you know what, oh, feminist, he will call me and joke about it. But I'm not saying that that's everything that I am. That's the only thing that I am. That's not the only thing. I'm many things, you know what. And if I have to identify as a feminist here today to fight this cause, to deal with this issue, to resolve this issue, yeah, that's fine by me.
Okay, so Dima, what's your own take?
I'm a feminist. Like I've been very vocal about this. Even on Twitter, I am like very vocal about it. On almost every social media platform that I know that I am on, I'm a feminist. I don't shy away from the label at all. And just like Bisi said, this is just me reinforcing or just emphasizing what she said. It's the same thing. When it comes to feminism, what the people, once you start talking about it, people who begin to counter it, especially men, always bring out very extreme cases of ridiculous things, or when people have just taken advantage of certain situations and then maybe try to use feminism to get out of it. And just like she said, with every single great movement, there are some bad eggs. You see it in every movement, you even see it in religion. People who are Muslim won't tell me that they will not they stopped identifying as Muslim because of radicalists or extremists or terrorists. Do you understand? Those are the people who are making them look bad, and they keep speaking about it. They don't speak for all of them. They don't represent the entire religion. However, Islam still stands for what it stands for. And it's the same thing with feminism here. Granted, it's so big, people are talking about it now. But then the thing about it is that there really isn't anything unique about where we are in this conversation now. You know, around the, I feel like every single time that this has, even early 1800s, late 1800s, when women were fighting for the rights to vote, like men said worse things.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were more, like, especially in England. I know that at least that was documented properly. I did see some of the things that were even written on media, when these women were trying to fight for their rights to do certain things. So we're speaking about it now. The shaming will come in, and then the only thing that they will hold on to will be the things that kind of look shady, that if you're even being practical, you know that this person is basically trying to take advantage of this movement. The same thing, you brought up the whole sex for grades thing, and then there are people who are bringing up all these things, bringing up false accusations, and I'm like, I remember I saw this recently. I'm like, for like the false rape accusations, I'm not in any way trying to say that they are not, they're not a thing, but then if you're bringing that in, because do you know the amount of women being raped on a daily basis everywhere in the world? People are trying to speak out of that, and you're bringing up this, like I said, I'm not trying to make it really trivial that false accusations are a thing, but then you bringing that up, against this other very big movement, serves a bigger purpose. It's very problematic.
Bring it up in addition to,
exactly,
not
Okay.
as opposed to.
You know what, guys? We are going to go on a quick break, and when we return, we still have more to talk about when it comes to this. So we're talking about feminism and if we are getting it right or not. Stick around.
What's up? This is
how would you
Zari.
break that?
Stay tuned.
Us,
Stay
what,
locked right here on Smooth
a minute,
98.1.
two? About 2
Art
minutes.
X Lagos is back,
Okay.
returning
So I
for
think
a
the
fourth
camera is
edition.
blurry.
Mark your
No,
calendars.
it's
just me.
because it was
Your
kind of
alarms.
focused
On
on
Saturday,
you.
the
So
2nd
Oh,
November and
okay.
Sunday,
if
the
we
3rd
tap on
November
it,
Because I was thinking if we
2019,
do
West
this, maybe
Africa's
move it
premier
closer
international
so
art
you
fair
can.
is bringing the very best of
Because we
Where
African
view,
I was a bit, I didn't want to mess up your setup.
To make
Oh, no,
room
it's fine.
for better and
See
bolder,
if you can put it
Artex
here.
Lagos will hold for the
Here?
first time
Yeah.
Okay,
ever
here.
at the Federal Palace in Victoria Island, Lagos,
I actually think
showcasing
that
over
place is good
90
because it
artists
gets the
from
three of
24
us.
countries
Because
across
once I'm this
Africa
way, I
and the
kind of feel like I'm blocking.
diaspora. Combining
Yeah,
technology,
and you have to be
music,
that close,
design,
Abby.
and new
Yeah.
forms of artistic expression, Artex Lagos invites
Just
you
make
to
sure
enjoy
that-
this unique
Or let's
cultural
put it here.
experience. To attend the fair, visit artexlagos.com and buy your tickets now. Artex Lagos is proudly sponsored by Access Bank, Stampic IBTC Pensions, 7up, the Ford Foundation, Anap Jets, Chapel Hill Denim, Tangerine.ng, Tiger
needs
Beer,
to be
Verve Clicquot,
elevated.
the
It needs
Sage
to be-
Innovation Center, Kia,
Can I do
Leeway
this?
Assurance,
That's fine.
and Smooth FM.
It's about
I
you
think it's better
and
now.
your
Yeah.
money with the experts on Smooth
We
98.1.
have been in Africa, one of our fastest growing regions.
Smooth 98.1 introduces Stambic IBTC Solutions, a week-to-week exposition on financial matters from the investor's perspective.
This is where we have to be. We have been investing here and we continue to invest.
Stay beyond information with premium financial management solutions to cover all your needs. Tune in to Stambic IBTC Solutions on Smooth 98.1 every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
And we are back, City of Lagos. Remember, this is still Soul Sisters on the Casbah with me, Khadijah. And of course, my Soul Sisters today are Ola Bisi, Ola Soetan, as well as Dinma Umeh, who happens to be very passionate about what we're talking about today.
Passionate.
Okay, so today we're looking at feminism and how we are getting it right, or are we? That is what our topic is for today. Remember, if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, our number is 0144899981. You could call in, or you could drop a message on WhatsApp with the number 0809444091. Don't forget to tweet at smooth981fm or drop a message on Instagram at smooth981. And remember, you can definitely join in on YouTube. You just search for Smooth981. And for those of you who'd love to listen live at the website, you can definitely do that, www.smooth981.fm. So we're going to continue right now. And so far we've kind of looked at some of the issues that tend to come up when we discuss feminism, and some of the negativity that comes with it as well. But I think we need to also talk about what it really is, this thing called feminism. Initially, to be very honest, I didn't really like the idea of it, because mostly what I had noticed, or what I saw portrayed from the majority of people, was yes, women were not being treated right. They were not given the opportunities they ought to have been given. And it almost felt as though it was kind of like, okay, let's pay the men back, or let's revolt, or let's just, do exactly what the men are doing back. Let's do what the men are doing to us. Let's do it back to them.
I don't really think it ever was do back. Maybe revolt. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't really think it was ever like do back. But me, even if the do back was, if it comes in, then I think that is justified to a large extent. But then I think that, yeah, but then I think that that was never really what it was. It's just revolt. It's you protesting something. It's you standing for what you believe is right. And it's equality, It's you
Exactly.
asking to be treated
But then
equally.
again, when people say equality, a lot of people tend to think, it's a woman saying that, oh, well, equal, I am equal to being a man, you know. But, the way I see it, I just see it as getting equal opportunities.
But that's basically what it is. I feel that it's a bit ridiculous and maybe confusing to me sometimes that when this conversation comes up, you see men begin to bring up physical strength. Okay, women are not as strong. She wants to go and carry that tire. Oh yeah, she should go and carry it now. Let's see. Because that's never ever, as far as I'm concerned, what it was about. It's not about physical strength. We know how we are built. We know what we're all capable of. We know like what biology. We know what we can do. Right? It's about, like you said, it's equal opportunities. It's logic. It's being treated as a human being. It's not when we are following logic. Okay, a plus a and 1 plus 1 equals 2. Okay, in every situation. Okay, 1 plus 1 equals 2. But then in certain situations where if it affects the women, you now begin to say that it doesn't really equal 2 because the Bible says, or it doesn't really equal 2 because society says, or it doesn't really equal 2 because culture says. And I feel like when those conversations or when those things start coming up, although I don't even really agree with the points that a lot of people bring when they start bringing religion up and all of that, but when all of that starts coming on, it's always, for me, what it always says is that, in most cases is we believe culturally that you're wired to handle this much pain or this much stress than we are. Culture requires that you do that. And then that's you not following logic, because you as a man, you know that if you were the one doing this, okay, if you were the one who, if you went to work, for example, let me bring in the household thing here. If you were the one, two people leave the house and go to work, right? They do 9 to 5 together. And then both of you come back around the same time, right? And then the woman who comes back, who has spent the same amount of hours you have at the office, comes back, is expected to do everything when it comes to the children: shower, feed, do everything, cook, clean, if possible, iron, and then you're chilling, the stronger sex. The way we are built physically, that's why, like, with a lot of it, logic is thrown out of the window. And then you're like, okay, since you are the stronger person who is even built physically to be able, like, to handle more than I can physically, what are you doing? Culture says that I shouldn't do this. This is demeaning work for me. Religion says that I'm not supposed to do this because this is demeaning work for me. It doesn't make sense because their logic
Actually,
is,
religion doesn't even say
yeah,
it.
religion doesn't say it, but that's what a lot of them bring up. Religion doesn't. If you go to the Bible looking for, I even posted something to do on Instagram. If you go to the Bible looking for quotes to justify whatever it is you're thinking in your head, you will find it. If you want the ones that preach the simple, the law, God says, love your neighbor as yourself. If you loved your wife as you love yourself, that rest that you're resting, she no deserve am. No, but it's a very simple question.
Actually, in terms of marriage, I mean, Bible even asks the men to love their wives as Christ loved the church. That's a big,
And that comes before. Do you understand? It comes before the next one that says you should obey him and do, like, I think I know the,
yeah. I mean, it doesn't even matter the
it doesn't
position.
it
I mean,
doesn't
it's just like everybody should do their
do what they're supposed to do. But then I feel that there's this one, because I don't know if I'm mixing things up, but then there's this quote that people tend to bring up all the time, that the church says you listen to your church says the man is the head and you have to listen and do every single thing. I remember, from knowing what I know, I'm so sad that I'm not even quoting this properly. I know that there is a verse that comes before that just God instructs man on how to love his wife. And most of the times, the things that you expect, because I feel like if it was supposed to come afterwards, it shouldn't. I don't know if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
If we're even being practical, God has already told you how to love your wife. If you were loving him exactly that way, you shouldn't even be commanding.
I think what you're trying to say is that God says, husbands love your wife.
Wife.
Christ,
As
wives
Christ loves the
respect,
church,
wife
respect
respect your
and love your husbands. Mhm.
and then husbands love your wives
Wives.
according as
I-
Christ loves the church.
I'll
Okay.
pull up
But
the
then
verse.
you are now talking about the one that says we should submit to one another.
Yeah, I think it's the submission one. I think that
Yeah,
that
so
that
that,
is the
that's
one I'm trying
actually
to
the one
quote.
you are
I'm trying to.
trying to
Okay, I
reference.
think the issue of submission is actually another topic.
Yeah.
For
For
another
another
day.
day.
I don't really
But-
like it when we
but-
reduce
Feminism to submission.
marriage,
Marriage and
because
submission.
Yeah,
this
because
is
there's
what
a
I
whole
always
lot
say.
of things.
The rules are different, and the rules even differ based on where what camp you're coming from. So
It
somebody
also
who
depends
is,
on the dynamics that the both of you
Yeah,
have as
so
individuals.
if we are talking about marriage, then there's more to that there's more that goes
Oh,
into
no,
a marriage
no, no,
than
no, 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 no.
just statutory law. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So now for feminism in a nation,
exactly.
we can put that under laws of the land. It can be an issue of equity.
Mhm.
Do you understand what I'm saying? As per
It is an issue of equity.
yeah. So
And
what
getting the same,
treatment, fairness, justice, and
Yeah.
all.
The
But-
reason why I did bring up, sorry to cut you off, the reason why I did bring up the marriage thing I brought up is that I feel like every single time feminism is something that comes up as a conversation here, it always boils down back to this. It's always boils down to the dynamics in the house, man, woman, blah blah blah. And I feel like the reason why I had to bring that up because I feel like that is what a lot of men tend to think about, or that is what a
Okay.
lot of people tend
Now
to
that
think
you
about.
talked about what a lot of men tend to think about, I'm going to go to that tweet and some of the responses that were
Okay,
in there.
yeah, you
and,
tell me.
Somebody actually tweeted. It was actually Ogboni Dippo who tweeted,
Okay.
and he was like, "Reminder that we should all be feminists.
Mhm.
Having said that, senseless toxic feminism should never be confused with feminism."
Yeah.
That was his tweet.
Mhm.
And there were a series of tweets. One was, "I will forever advocate for women's rights and equity, but never feminism because its foundation is built on the narrative that the genesis of their problem are men."
I don't. Do you think? Do you?
And
do you
that is
agree
what I
with
was
that?
talking about when, I said that initially I never really liked, personally, I never really liked the idea of feminism because,
But they can
quite a number of people, or maybe back then, didn't really put a lot of clarity.
Now,
Like
even
you
if we-
already mentioned,
Now, if we are saying back then, none of us actually. That instance is that
Logical.
logical is that you get your wage, you get your wage for the work that you have done. But in that space, if I said to myself that, you know what, I want to give this a shot, don't pull me back because I'm a woman. Don't just like rub me up and say, go sit down, you're a woman. Or if I then go ahead to do it, don't hold me back my wage that I deserve just because I'm a woman. Look at the work that has been done.
And this is the basis for the equal pay talk or discussion that we are all having in recent times. Is men, women doing roles, Hollywood, Nollywood, wherever, do things. In some cases, the women even have more lines, more whatever. Acting requires more from them. But then, the way everything has been wired from the beginning of time, you think man, you think family, you think responsibilities. You think woman, you don't really think family, you don't think responsibilities. It's almost
She's
pocket
part of the
change. So
responsibility.
whatever it is, she's part of the responsibility. She manage whatever we're giving her.
Okay, guys, you know what? This topic is going to go on and on and on. I kind of feel like we just keep putting cans here and there. We'll probably have a continuation of this some other time. But it's been absolutely splendid having you both in the studio with us today.
Yeah.
So, Olori Olabisi, please, if anyone would like to continue this conversation with you on Twitter, for instance, or Instagram, how can they do that?
My Instagram handle is Secret Place Wife. Secret Place Wife. And on Facebook, I'm Olabisi Olashweto. On Twitter, I'm Bisi Olashweto.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, it's allowed.
So please, how can they reach you?
On Twitter it's Dinma Umeh, so it's DIMMAUMEH. Instagram is the same thing. You can also find me on YouTube. It's Dinma on all social media. On Facebook it's still That Igbo Chick, so you can go on Facebook and search That Igbo Chick.
All right, guys, that's all we can take for today, even though we're quite over time. But Lagos, remember, some more music comes your way in the 2 o'clock hour, especially some good Afro soul music, and that will be right after this. Postcards.
World music.
People